Hello, this is just a reminder that sections 11 and 12 should go to price. Sections 11 and 12 should go to price. Hello, everyone. How are you today? Hello. Welcome to our sixth seminar today. Our speaker is from Melbourne, Australia. He's been in Chile for 2 years now, and he has been running his office and his own business of an education agency. Since he started, he has sent over 100 students to Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Ireland, and England to pursue their studies overseas. Please welcome Nelson Ferret.
Hello. Does it work? Okay. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay? All the way at the back? Yeah, oh, good. Firstly, before I begin, I'd like to see a show of hands of people, of anyone that has been outside of Latin America before. Raise your hands. Oh, wow, a lot of you. Good. Another question. Are any of you perhaps interested after your career to maybe pursue another degree or postgrado overseas? Maybe? Good. A lot of you as well. Nice. So this presentation will be very relevant for you then, I think. As Denise mentioned, Blue Studies. I started Blue Studies about 3 years ago. Well, we'll start off. My name is Nelson Ferret. I'm the director, founder of Blue Studies here in Chile. But on my business card, I write my name as Chief of Making It Happen. It's something a little bit, a bit modern rather than using the usual director. Because when I give them my card, they look at this Chief of Making It Happen. It's a little bit funny, and it perks their interest. And they think, okay, what do you make happen? So then it starts the conversation, and I get to talk about my business. I don't know if you can It's quite small. So in our office, we give fun modern names to all our staff members as well. For example, our counselors when they talk to our students, we give them the name executive advisor because they advise the students. The sales and marketing staff, they're called the success manager because essentially they're bringing success to the company. The finance, we call them collections ninja. Something a little bit funny because they're usually quite quiet. The accountants, they're at the back, but they're like ninjas. They always make sure the money comes in. And admin assistants, we call them admin angels because, for example, the secretary, the receptionist, they're at the front of the staff. People might not think they're as important, but actually they're like angels to us because they do a lot of the work that maybe sometimes we don't like doing, so we call them admin angels. Firstly, I'll tell you a little bit about Blue Studies. So Blue Studies was founded in 2006 in Melbourne, Australia, where I'm from, by a Colombian named Andrea Palacios. She moved to Melbourne from Colombia, and she was doing her post-graduation degree in Australia. So she started this company. It began as a social network to help new Latinos assimilate into Australian society. But eventually it became an agency where she was helping a lot of Colombians that were looking to study in Australia. So that she would introduce different schools to them, help them with the visa process, tell them everything about life in Australia. So since 2006, we now have 10 offices worldwide. We have 2 in Australia, 1 in Canada, 1 in Mexico City, 1 in Santiago, and 5 in Colombia, where it's a much bigger market there. So the one in Santiago, I started 3 years ago. So since 2006, we have sent over 5,000 students worldwide, not just to Australia, but New Zealand, Ireland, Canada, United States, basically any country that speaks English. So our goals are basically we help students realize their dreams of studying overseas. We aim to push civilization forward by enabling students worldwide to achieve goals and success through overseas studies. So what that basically means is we're helping students that are looking to expand their careers, open up their minds, see a different culture, and show them that other studies is possible in another country. How we achieve this? We achieve this by aligning them with the right educational path. We provide powerful resources and a strong network. So when they come in, we do tell them about the countries that are available to them and what is most suitable for them. Before I go on too much about Blue Studies, I want to tell you a little bit about my story. Maybe you're thinking, I'm from Australia, why am I in Chile? Because that's a very common question I always get. ¿Por qué Chile? So I was actually born and grew up in Taiwan. My mother's actually from Taiwan. My dad's from England. But I grew up in Taiwan until I was about 12 years old. And then we actually immigrated to Australia when I was 12 years old. I did high school and university, but I actually also traveled to Canada and I studied a hotel management diploma in Vancouver. At the time when I was about 21, I was looking to maybe open up my own hotel. I had big ambitions to help the world and have this big hotel. But then after about 1 year, I realized it was a lot of work, so I quit. So eventually I finished my Bachelor of Business Management at Monash University, which is a university in Melbourne in Australia. I started working at a university in Melbourne in a marketing role. At first I started off helping international students, helping them come into the university, and then I eventually worked my way up and started doing more marketing. And I was marketing to international students wanting to come to our university. The university actually became quite successful and we opened up a branch in England, in Birmingham. So I actually went there and I was transferred to Birmingham, England, and I set up a branch university in England. After that, I was transferred to Shanghai in China to recruit Chinese students to send to the university in Australia. In Australia, we get a lot of Chinese students coming to the universities, so I was a marketing recruitment person within China, getting students to come to Australia. Now, the big question, why am I in Chile? So I arrived in Chile 3 years ago. I've always really enjoyed South American culture. I dance quite a bit of salsa and bachata, although when I got to Chile, I realized nobody dances salsa and bachata. But in terms of the economy, I'd find Chile is probably the most stable, most advanced economy within South America. So when I was thinking 3 years ago, where should I go in South America, I thought Chile presented the best opportunities and for me to really grow and professionally in my career. Better job opportunities. I was looking maybe for more multinational companies, and a lot of the multinational companies that are based in South America would be in Santiago. Security, compared to the rest of South America, I'd say Chile is relatively secure. And last but not least, there's direct flights from Australia. I didn't want to change escalas and go to Colombia, Brazil. And it's only 14 hours to Australia. That's like 6 or 7 movies, and then you're in Australia. That's like very fast. It's not that far. Right. So I'll talk a little bit about Blue Studies now and how it works. So the model itself, it's actually a franchise model. So as I mentioned before, Andrea Palacios, the Colombian, she started it off in Melbourne. And at that time, it was just Melbourne and Bogota. Then about 5 years ago, she decided, okay, I need to expand the business. And the way to do that was through the franchise model. The franchise model is basically she went to every different city in South America to find somebody that would be interested in owning their own business within that city. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the advantages and disadvantages of a franchise model. The first one, I should make it bigger next time. Systems. Computer system, marketing system, operating system, CRM. CRM is the client relations management. So one of the good things about a franchise model, as opposed to if you start up your own business yourself, is the franchise, it's already there. There's going to be someone that has a system in place and they can just transfer it over to you. So when I started in Santiago, I didn't have any contacts or network, but they had already a marketing system in place that they'd been using in Australia and also Colombia. So it was easy to implement here. And so that helped me a lot. So when I first I could immediately start marketing. I already had templates for flyers, for business cards, for promotional material. So that was quite advantageous for me. Training. It's a very formal training program. It's very comprehensive. So as opposed to a startup, if I was by myself, I would have to try everything myself. I'd probably make a lot of mistakes along the way. Whereas here, there's already a training in place. The branch in Colombia had already been in place, the one in Melbourne. So they've made a lot of mistakes and they've corrected themselves and they found out the best formula to work. They've been doing it for 10 years. So now they're just showing me all the correct way to do it. So the training was quite good. Technology. Benefit greatly from the technology that franchisors have in place. So the franchisor is the head office. Right? So they're similar to the systems above. They have the technology. They already have a database system that they can give to me, and I can already start making students, sending out MailChimp newsletters, things like that. So the technology is already there for me to use from day one. Marketing advertising, so similar to what I said before. The marketing plans, advertising templates, they're already in place, and power in numbers. So obviously they had already been marketing in Colombia, and there's been a lot of YouTube videos. So it was quite well known already in Latin America. So it was easy to sort of just transfer it down to also Chile and start marketing here as well, because everything was already in Spanish. I didn't have to Google Translate everything. Support. So franchisors have terrific support systems in place. Central computer system, Google Drive, Facebook group. So like I said before, so we have 10 offices around the world. So all the offices, we talk to each other, we support each other, we help each other. If you have a particular problem, maybe the one in Mexico also had the same problem, and we can talk and we can support each other. So that's obviously a great help, as opposed to if I had started off my business by myself. I would not have that support system in place. Lastly, well, the same thing, franchisee network, support network of like-minded entrepreneurs also invested in the opportunity. So like myself, the one in Mexico, the one in Canada, one in Sydney, there's also owned by an entrepreneur like myself, and we all have the same mindset. We all want to achieve big things. We want to help the company grow so we can talk to each other. Because as an entrepreneur, it can be very lonely doing everything yourself. You don't know what you're doing is right or wrong. Whereas if you're with a franchise, you can talk to the bosses of the other cities and really be able to support each other. So that's been very helpful for me. Now, I'll talk a little bit about the disadvantages of a franchise. Franchise fee. It's an upfront licensing fee. So, for example, probably the most famous franchises in the world are, McDonald's, Subway, and they're all owned by different people, but then they also are part of the big umbrella, right? So every time you buy a particular store, you have to pay an upfront licensing fee. Sometimes people maybe don't have the funds, you don't have the money to be able to pay that upfront fee. So that is a disadvantage sometimes for entrepreneurs if you're looking into the franchise model. Royalties. This is the one I don't like particularly. Paying a percentage of your gross sales. So every month I have to give a percentage of my income to the head office. So even though it's still my company, you still have to pay a percentage to the company, the head office, because they were the ones that gave you the name, that give you the technology and all the networking. So you're paying a percentage. Rules. Must follow the franchisor's rules to keep things uniform. So a good example of this is like in Subway. I actually had Subway for lunch, so it's in my mind. So at Subway, they ask you for the queso, and the rules are always 2 quesos. You can't do 3, you can't do 1, it's always 2. So it's similar in this sense as well. Everything must be uniform. Some of the things that they advertise in Colombia and Mexico and Canada, we also have to do the same here. Purchasing. Purchase your products and supplies from your franchisor. So a lot of times you'd have to, so for example, if Colombia office, they're using a particular marketing software, and they say, okay, this is what all Blue Studies is going to use, then we have to use the same software, even if maybe I prefer using another software. Marketing fund. Paying a percentage of your gross sales to the franchisor. So even though we're all called Blue Studies, all the offices, Blue Studies, and every month, all the offices, we pay a small fee into a central fund where the head office then does worldwide marketing. Because when you're doing marketing and you tell your clients, oh, we have 10 offices around the world, it's a lot more impressive. It's a lot more, you're a big company. So that's why we all pay a little marketing fee. So then we can say that to everybody. Oh, we are a worldwide company, and it gives us a lot more prestige. Last, selling your franchise. So the franchisor, which is the headquarters, franchisor, needs to approve the buyer. So one day, if I decide I want to go back to Australia, I'm going to sell my business. I can't just find a Eckies person and sell it to them. I would need to consult with the boss, the headquarters, to say, hey, is this okay? Because obviously it's the brand name in the end, and they want to see the next person will be able to uphold the brand name and make sure it continues the good reputation. So, a little bit about Blue Studies and what exactly we do, the services that we offer. We do a personalized and free consultation with the student in our office or over Skype or WhatsApp. So every day we have students, or not students, we have clients from, because we do high school as well, 15 years old up to, there's no limit. We have 60-year-olds coming in sometimes. And they come into our office, We sit down for about 45 minutes, and it's a free consultation where we analyze their profile. What did you study? What do you want to study? What kind of city do you like? What is your budget, your presupuesto? And then based on, here we go, analyze your goals, your studies, your lifestyle, and your budget. Then, based on all these factors, we make a personalized quote of various institutions around the world. So if somebody comes in and they say, I want to do a master's in Australia. I'm like, okay, we can do a master's. What do you want to study? I want to do engineering and master's. Okay. Obviously, in Australia, you need to speak English. What is your English level? They're saying B1, B2. It's like, okay, that's probably not enough to do a master's. So what we do is I'll make you a package. We'll do maybe 6 to 10 months of English, for example, and then after that, then you would progress directly to your master's. And we would make them a quote of the university, the prices, when they need to pay, and basically we help them to see their entire path. And not just for one school, but maybe show them 3, 4, 5 different schools in the country that they want to go to. We help everything from the first step, so when they decide, okay, I want this school, we help them with the application form, we help them with the transfer of the payment to the university. Usually they have to make a small deposit. And then finally their visa, which is also a very important step. We help them with the visa, we help them show what the requirements are by the embassy to get their visa, and then we also tell them about the airline tickets, when's the best time to get it, because we also work with different airlines to get a better price for their pasajes. And help with accommodation. A lot of schools obviously offer residencies or homestays called like Casa de Familia. They stay with to help improve their English, so we also help with the accommodation. Post-departure help, job advice, tips on settling in, tax advice. So just before they go, they come back into the office one more time, we give them their visa, we take a photo with them, and we just give them all the little tips. When you get to the airport, what to do, how much you need to pay for a taxi, where you're going. And if they're going to Melbourne, for example, where we have an office, the office there will also welcome them in and show them everything about the city. Where's the good restaurants, how much for the train or the metro or the bus, things like that. So those are the services that we at Blue Studies offer. How we strive for the competitive edge. Strive is how we aim for competitive edge, how we get the advantage over our competitors, over our competition. So we try to be very honest, reliable, and trustworthy. One thing I found when I came to Chile, people are very friendly, people are really nice, but there always seems to be a barrier. People have a kind of, they're not very trusting. If they don't know you, they won't really trust you. But once they get to know you, they'll treat you like family, like, come to my asado, meet my abuelos, they're like super friendly, but there's always that first frontera that you need to cross. And so from my perspective, I try to make it as honest and transparent as possible, tell them everything about the country they're going to. Don't try to sugarcoat it. I don't know if you heard the term sugarcoat is basically make everything sound pretty. Otherwise it creates a sense of distrust. Everything's so beautiful and pretty. So we tell them exactly like it is. Like in Australia, it's very expensive. You do need money. Not everything is going to be rosy and pretty. So try to be as honest, reliable, and trustworthy. Giving value. So we always try to give value rather than just as a business sell, take. Giving value as in we're always, we give out newsletters once a month, once every 2 months, just about general news around the world. So for example, last month in Australia, the migration office, they changed a few rules in regards to migration. So we put that in our next newsletter to send out to our database of students. We have updates on promotions, on scholarships, on prices. We run a language exchange here in Santiago every Tuesday. We have a language exchange where it's half foreigners, half Chileans. Usually we get about 60, 70 people of 10 minutes English, 10 minutes Spanish, and we just practice English and Spanish. And usually we also do a Facebook Live seminar, where every week we might just do for 10 minutes a Facebook Live, just talking about the questions students usually have. How much money do I need to go overseas to study? Is it easy to find a job there? What are New Zealand people like? So just general questions that students have, we try to give them the answers. Creating content. This is probably the most important bit of information in terms of the running business that I have found to be very successful and useful. Making content, videos, testimonials, social media. We live in an age now compared to, say, 15 years ago, where everything is at our fingertips. You can Google anything, you can look up. I can put something on Instagram and I can target exactly the people that I want it to go to. As opposed to 20 years ago, traditional advertising was through newspapers, TV channels, where you was broadcasting to maybe 1 million people, but only maybe 2% of that was the people you want to target. So videos, testimonials, we do a lot of testimonials. So a lot of the students that we've sent to Australia, we do ask them, if you can, make just a 30-second video of your life in Australia, what you like about it, and send it to us. If you're not out there, people won't know about you. So there's one thing, a lot of people are really afraid to put themselves out there. They don't want to do a video, they want to do a filter, they want to make sure everything's perfect. My advice is just get yourself out there. It doesn't matter if you have problems or it doesn't look perfect. If you're out there, people will see you. And then your next version, you can make it better. Next version, you can make it better. But don't wait until you have the perfect product before uploading it onto social media. Because if no one knows about you, you wait and wait and wait, all your other competitors will be ahead of you. So we've actually changed a lot of staff members, but this was last year. Myself, Diane in the middle, she's actually from Colombia, and Manuel, he's Chilean. Just have a short video just introducing Blue Studies. That wasn't it. Hola, somos Blue Studies International. Me llamo Nelson de Australia.
Yo soy Diane de Colombia.
Y yo soy Manuel de Chile.
¿Alguna vez has pensado estudiar en el exterior, realizar un curso de inglés, una carrera profesional o un posgrado? Existen muchos destinos como Australia, Nueva Zelanda, Canadá, Estados Unidos, Inglaterra, entre otros.
Por ejemplo, ¿sabían que Australia y Nueva Zelanda son uno de los países más escogidos entre los estudiantes?
¿Por qué?
Bueno, en estos países puedes trabajar 20 horas semanales, la fuente laboral es bastante alta, es fácil encontrar trabajo y los sueldos también son muy altos.
Y lo mejor de todo es que la calidad de vida es muy buena, especialmente la gente es muy amable y son países muy seguros.
Además, nuestras asesorías son gratuitas y también son personalizadas, así que no esperes más, haz clic en el link y permítenos ayudarte a alcanzar tus sueños. ¡Chao!
So there's just a lot of the other students that we've sent overseas once they get their visa, take a photo of them, and yeah, now they're enjoying life overseas. There's another video I'm going to show you very short as well. It's a testimonial of one of our other students, Javiera. So she actually went to Australia first on a working holiday visa and then came back and loved Australia so much, decided to go back again. Yeah.
Hola, soy Javiera y hace poquito llegué de una Working Holiday Visa en Australia. Estuve un año allá y la verdad es que el país me gustó tanto que me quedé con todas las ganas de volver. Así que apenas llegué a Chile me contacté con la agencia que me la había recomendado un amigo que lleva hartos años en Australia y para que me ayudaran a volver, pero con una visa de estudiante esta vez. Hablé con Dayan, ella se portó un 7, me ayudó con todo, me ayudó a elegir el curso de acuerdo a mi presupuesto, a lo que a mí me gustaba. Fue resolviendo todas mis dudas con una paciencia increíble, así que súper buena experiencia con la agencia. Ya tengo todo listo, el 10 de abril parto el curso y ya a fines de marzo viajo. Así que estoy muy contenta y para todos los que tengan las ganas, Australia es un país increíble, la gente es súper amable, la calidad de vida es altísima y como experiencia de conocer otra cultura, el idioma y todo, 100% recomendado.
Cool. So like those two videos, I found when I've shown it to a group of people, they've all really enjoyed watching Javiera. I was like, what about us, the three people? Because obviously as a consumer, as a customer, you're going to believe more another person who's gone through the experience and her testimonial, her advice, as opposed to just watching us. Because we're the company. Naturally, we're going to talk about how great we are and come to us. So generally, the consumer is more trusting towards the testimonial. So that's why testimonials are super, super important. And we try to do as many video testimonials as possible. After we've sent a student to overseas, after about a month or 2 months, we usually say, hey, please maybe make a short video. We even give them an incentive. Whatever city they're in, we give them a free movie pass, a movie ticket to the cinema, and to just give us a 30-second to 1-minute video about their life in Ireland or United States or Canada. And we found it to be super, super useful to put onto our Instagram, Facebook, social media, etc. Too much time. I don't know if I want to show you this. I went back to Australia this is when I first started. I came to Chile, and after 6 months, I went back to Australia again, and I was thinking in my head, okay, I need to make content, but my Spanish wasn't it's not Spanish, it's Chileno, it's distinto. My Chileno was not very good yet, but I was like, I don't care, I'll just do it and see and surprisingly, I put this up on our Facebook, and within like a week, I got about 20, 30 more followers in our Blue Studies channel on Facebook. So it just goes to show, just put up anything, just something, and people are interested. So I was in Gold Coast just talking about La Playa. Excuse my Chileno, it was really bad. Oh, you can't see me. Well, that's end of the presentation then. I don't know what happened. Did I do something wrong? That was like the end anyway, and then I'll go to the questions. How are we for time?
We're fine. Just don't show them the question, right?
Pardon?
Don't show them the question.
Okay. No. Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
I think it was destiny. Not to see my video. Hola chicos, soy Nelson, el director de Blue Studies International. Estoy aquí en Gold Coast, Australia, en una ciudad muy muy hermosa, con una ciudad en la playa y no hay muchos inhabitantes, como 500,000 inhabitantes, pero es un lugar muy bonito. Hay muchos hoteles, muchos restaurantes, cafés, entonces muy fácil para conseguir trabajo. Sí, mira, es bonito. Todo el año, como aquí no hay invierno, bueno, hay invierno, pero como 20 grados. Pero ahora en diciembre es el verano, entonces ahora más o menos 28, 29 grados a las 5:30 de la tarde y disfrútalo. Mira, la temperatura de la agua en la playa, 22 grados. Muy rico, muy bacán, como concón. No concón. Cool. Yeah, that was like one of the first videos I ever made when I was here. So this is also, because every Tuesday we run a language exchange as well. So we're just interviewing a couple, I think they're both from Germany, just to see what they felt about the language exchange. So they can, I'm going to go on actually. It's a very short video. So some of the challenges that I found when starting the business, in terms of finding staff members, hire slowly and fire fast. When you're trying to find the right person, right fit for your company, really take your time to find somebody who will fit into your culture. And if once you've hired them, if you really feel that it's not working, most of the time, if your gut, if your instinct is telling you it's not working, most likely it's not going to work. And so I say fire fast. Second, challenges was language. I obviously did not speak Chileno when I arrived, but that was something I had to learn very fast. I didn't know anybody when I arrived as well, so not having contacts, having to build a network immediately, because I started the business my second month in Chile. So that was hard. Finding the right location, I didn't know where everything was. I knew a lot of other agencies were in Las Condes, but anyway, I've put myself in Providencia near Pedro de Valdivia, around there, because I felt it was more central. Entering into a market already filled with established players is always going to be very challenging. Obviously, I'm new in Chile, and there's other agencies already here, so that's just another player in the market. Finances. New companies rarely make a profit in their first year at least, sometimes even 2 years. So you have to be prepared to take a hit to your bank account. You're going to be spending a lot of money in the first year just to build it up, and fingers crossed, in the second year, third year, you'll start seeing money coming in, basically. And finding a balance between social life and work. And that's something I'm still working on every day. As an entrepreneur, someone who has your own business, it's very hard to, work is my life. You know, people think like, oh, Friday, it's Viernes, let's go party, piscola, la la la. Like, Friday for me, a Monday could be a Friday for me. You know, if I want to take the day off, I take the day off. But the thing is, if I'm not working, there's no work being done. There's no money coming in. So I felt like I had to be working all the time. If I wasn't working, I felt guilty. But you really need to be able to find the balance and let your brain rest every once in a while. So victories. It's very important. Obviously, I talked about the challenges. It can be very tough, very lonely by yourself, making your own business. So therefore, it's really important that you celebrate every once in a while, even if it's a small victory, just to remind yourself that you're doing something great, you're doing something amazing, and you can actually start seeing results. So at the moment, I've got, this is old, but I've got about 3,000 followers now on Facebook fan page when I started off from 0 when I first started. Language exchange every Tuesday. We used to have 15 people come every Tuesday. Now we have more than 75 every week, of like more, 70% Chileans and 30% foreigners. A champion team that can run the business efficiently, which frees up my time to concentrate on more marketing, establish strategic partnerships. So when I was by myself, obviously I had to do everything. I was doing marketing, I was doing with the clients, I was doing finances, it was very hard. But now at least I've got 4 staff members with me. And so they're a team that I can know if I'm going to be sick one day, I can stay at home and know the business will continue running. So that's something I'm really grateful for having a great team around me. And lastly, being able to speak to you about my experiences and giving back to the community. Obviously, this is something I really enjoy. You know, one of the things I wanted to do working for this agency was, because when I worked for the university in Australia, there were a lot of international students coming into Australia, and they were very misinformed. They had agencies telling them a lot of mentiras about Australia, a lot of things that weren't true, and it really frustrated me. So when I came here, I wanted to be able to share with everybody, share with the community exactly what it's like overseas and be able to give them the correct information. So this is something I really enjoy doing. Just sharing my experiences with you, helping the next generation that want to also be an entrepreneur, maybe open up their own business, and just the struggles, but also the victories that you can achieve. Thank you for your time. And we have, there's my Facebook, Instagram, and Meetup if you want to join.
Is there any questions? Nelson, we were talking about how New Zealand and Australia are becoming really popular nowadays.
Yeah.
So what do you think those countries have to offer to our students?
What Australia
have
has
to
to
offer
offer?
to our students? Why are they becoming so popular?
Well, I mean, I suppose it's just the culture is the biggest difference. I think being a lot of the students that have gone overseas, a lot of them, maybe they've been outside Chile, but they've been just in South America. And so going to another country where it's different culture, really multicultural, I think it really helps expand your mind, you know, think outside the box. Because maybe growing up in one area, you're taught a certain way to think. And going to another country, you find, oh wow, they're teaching this a different way. And I feel traveling and learning different cultures is the best education you can have. I've been traveling since I was a young child, so I feel extremely fortunate and lucky to have been able to experience so many different cultures. But I think being able to experience a different culture, I think, is really quite something that you will be able to hold on to for your entire life and help you even professionally as well.
Thank you. Is there any other question?
No, neither. I've also left some of my flyers like on here at the front there. So if you're interested later on, feel free to take one. If you're interested in just finding out more information about overseas travel or anything like that.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Nelson.
Yeah,
and I
thank you very
think
much.
we're ready for your questions.
The questions? Okay. It's not too hard. Do they have it, or it's just here? No? Okay. Do I need to read it out? Should I read it out? So the first one, would you prefer starting a franchise company or your own company? And give 3 reasons to support your answer. So before I was talking about advantages and disadvantages of franchises, what would you like doing? Starting your own, or there's obviously, goods and bads of both. And secondly, identify 3 ways in which the company, Blue Studies International, we aim for the competitive edge and evaluate which is the most important for the success of the business, and give reasons to back up your answers. So what you feel is very good for the company to be able to be better than your competition. And if you want to follow my Facebook, Instagram, Meetup, it's there too. Always the salesman. I feel like next time I should make a bigger font. Or the other ones are really small. No?
10 minutes. 5 minutes. Two more minutes. All right, people, time's up. I'm sorry, so please stop writing.